Basement Politics with Freddie Vasquez. Tonight, Tim Hodges, Democratic candidate for District 6, Yonkers City Council, will be joining me in the basement for a second time. We'll discuss the general election, crime, quality of life, and a bunch more stuff. Thanks for joining us. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. I'm Freddie Vasquez, your host of Basement Politics with Freddie Vasquez. Tonight, I have a special guest, Tim Hodges, Democratic candidate for Yonkers City Council, District 6. Tim Hodges joining us tonight. Everybody help me welcome Tim in. Tim, good evening. How you doing? I haven't done that in a while. How's it going? How's everything?
I like that, Freddie. That's really nice. Nice intro.
Thank you. How's everything? How you doing? How you doing this evening, Tim?
I'm doing well. You know, Freddie, we were out canvassing. We were knocking on doors, and you know, I had to get on the show at 7, so we actually just ducked into a convenience store that one of my friends owned, and we just jumped on the call. So I don't want to miss a day out campaigning.
No, that's great. No, you're definitely working hard. And for those who don't know, we were supposed to start at 7. There was some a little confusion there. And so you had to you went to my business there on Lockwood. Right? You thought the interview was going to be there, and then you had to kind of go wherever you're going to do it. I guess you stopped some local convenience store there. I appreciate that. Yes. Thank you. I mean, I would have waited. No rush. You're the man, not me.
Thanks,
I wait for you. Well, Tim, I appreciate you joining me again for a second time here on Basement Politics. I definitely wanted to get you back on to talk some more with you. And now you're coming back on as the winner of the primaries in last June as a Democratic candidate for District 6 in this coming November's election. How do you feel about the elections? Confident? How do you feel?
Freddie, I'm excited about it. I am fairly confident. You know, we're out there every day. We're knocking on doors and we're getting a good vibe. I mean, every day we get a good vibe from people. I'm out there talking to the people about their issues, and like I said, I think they're pretty receptive.
Are you feeling confident going into this election, this race?
You know, it's always tough. You know, it's my first time running for a political office. I ran for union offices my entire police career, and I always won. I haven't lost one yet, so. I'm hoping we continue the trend. I am confident in a lot of ways. Just the fact that I'm out there every day and I talk to people and so many people say, "Hey, listen, Tim, nobody ever knocked on my door. No politician has ever knocked on my door. You're the first one. I'm so excited you're doing this." So when I hear that, I really do get excited about it. And I'm a person. I always have my entire police career. So win, lose, or draw, I'm here in Yonkers. I'm a Yonkers person for life. I was born here. I raised my child here, and I'll probably die here. So I'm a Yonkers guy inside and out.
Well, just really quick, the service or the connection broke up a little bit. So in case that it does, we will try to get you back on. So bear with us, folks. So I just want to mention that. Yes, you are a lifelong resident of the city of Yonkers. That is something that I've mentioned before, as you've mentioned it to me. And you've mentioned it to me when you've come to my business and you've knocked on our door, and we appreciated that. So I will vouch for that. You do knock on doors. You are out there. I've seen you, and you actually took 45 minutes, I believe, that day to speak with us, which that's a lot of time. For people who are out, or for candidates who are out canvassing, right? It's a lot of doors to knock. So I greatly appreciated that. And that's exactly why, I think that I've built that relationship with you. You're a very nice guy. And of course, I've always appreciated nice people. I want to say thank you. It was a great event. I was there the other night on Tuesday. I said hello to you. It was an excellent event. And I see that you have a lot of support. And I can see that definitely why that is. I want to start with talking about crime, right? Talking about the quality of life also, because crime is a part of quality of life. Recently, there was a shooting off Tuckahoe at a park. That I'm sorry, I forget the name of the park, but someone was killed. The gentleman, I believe, was
Boo
Boo.
Wilson Park.
Yes, and the gentleman, I believe, was from actually the Bronx, not from the city of Yonkers, correct?
Yes.
And it's just, it's not, it doesn't seem to end, and it's actually surprising. We normally don't see a lot of that stuff happening in that area, but I believe that is your area that you will be representing. So talk to me a little bit about that, and how do you feel?
Yeah, you know what, Freddie? I was at the commemoration for the park only about 2 weeks ago. They did an amazing job. The Parks Department really did a wonderful job on that park. There's a water garden in the back, and like the park is amazing. And I was a police officer in the fourth precinct for many years, and we actually had that sector for a while. And I'll tell you, it was always a good park. There were never many issues there, and you kind of hate that, when you have this brand new park, and now you have a shooting, and it just puts a bad taste in people's mouth. And then like people from the neighborhood are going to say, oh, now I'm fearful to go to that park.
Right,
And that's not the message we should be sending. So
right,
the police department's amazing in this city, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. So I'm sure they're doing a great job with trying to find out who the perpetrator is. Um, but I hope the people don't realize that this is not the normal thing in this city. I mean, this is an aberration. We don't have this type of violent crime. So I think, now that we did experience it, now, the police department and the fourth precinct and the first precinct will get together, and they'll have extra patrols there, I'm sure. But that's the key is
right.
to make the people feel safe, find out who did this, get to the bottom of it. And it's sad because I met Boo Wilson, who the park's named after, many years ago. I actually met his son, who was at the commemoration of the park the other day, and I'm going to reach out to him because it was such a beautiful event. The park's great. We wanted to
Right.
continue to be well. And you know what? You're right. I think I think these people were from the Bronx, so
Yeah.
maybe we could work something out where we have more of Yonkers residents using the Yonkers parks.
Right. And I'm not trying to single out anyone from the Bronx if anyone from the
No,
Bronx is
no,
watching,
not at
right?
all.
No, I mentioned that just because the gentleman wasn't from Yonkers, but doesn't change it, right? It happened in Yonkers, and you're right. Yonkers is not normally we've been seeing it more often. However, it seems to be happening more frequently than we've been kind of used to recently, right, in recent years. But it seems to be increasing, so that should be a concern, I think. And what's great about you, Tim, is that you have experience with law enforcement, right? As a former deputy police chief, Yonkers Police Department, you know how to handle these situations. You know how to go about it, as opposed to someone who has not had your experience. How would you
Yeah.
approach this and other crime issues if you were elected?
So, Freddie, I was blessed with a really wonderful career. I actually held every rank in the police department. I don't think anybody's ever held every rank. So it's a wonderful career. So I was a detective for many years. I was a detective supervisor. I was patrol bosses. So I kind of know all the ins and outs of the police. And at the later end of my career, I actually ran our ComStat, which is computerized statistics, and it's strategizing crime. It's strategizing who is committing the crimes, where they're committing the crimes, at what time. It's like precision policing. And if we continue to do precision policing, we're only going to come out on the top, because that's when you zero in on the people that commit crimes. You zero in on the locations. You get help from the community, because once you have buy-in from the community, and once you have the resources, which Yonkers, we do have a very well staffed police department. um, and they're doing that already. I know my colleagues in the Yonkers Police Department are already putting this together. They're definitely going to come up with a plan for this area. My thing would be down down the road, when I get elected, is to really look at the staffing levels. You have the first precinct, which is there's very low crime, which is great, but you still need
Right.
police. You still need to deter that crime. You know, the majority of the crimes are petty crimes and larcenies and smaller crimes, and that's what really bothers people. So you really have to have that effective patrol out there instead of guys and girls just chasing the radio when you get calls. It's good to have preventive patrols. So I would really push for more preventive patrols.
And preventive patrols, what does that entail? What exactly, for those who may not be familiar with it?
So there's sector cars. Each precinct has different sectors. So the sector cars will answer jobs. If someone had a car break in or a car is broken down, like minor jobs. But if you have extra police staff that are not chasing that radio, not following, not have to go to take accident reports and so forth, and you just have dedicated patrols to parks, especially like Boo Wilson Park. They would have to check on that park every 2 hours or every hour. You're going to deter crime. It's just a matter of fact. You drive around in a patrol car, conspicuous police car, you're going to naturally deter crime. And I think that's what we really need to do. I mean, you can always investigate crimes later, but what we want to do is now prevent the crimes. And there's also new technology, which is predicting crime. Crime prediction, when you use algorithms and you put all the mix in that chemistry of who, what, where, and when, and you find out, hey,
Data.
Where the gangs are hanging out, these guys are hanging out there, this girl. So when you put the data together, and then you can do preventive policing also. It's used out west a lot, but it's coming to the East Coast also.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great that you again are familiar with law enforcement, right? You are familiar with these strategies, and you can help implement them here in the city of Yonkers to hopefully reduce the crime if elected to District 6. Well, I know you don't cover the entire city, but you are very much involved in a lot of what goes on in terms of the city government and decisions that are made throughout the city. And I appreciate you for that. Yes, proactive approach is, I believe, the best approach. I'm very much a champion for being proactive rather than reactive, right? And finding solutions and finding ways to utilize the police department in proactive policing. I think that's great, right? And also, but also in through community service, right? And I've been seeing a lot of the officers outside of their patrol cars. I've seen them on Riverdale Avenue in Ashburn, I've seen them in Getty Square, Nodine Hill section on Elm Street. So I'm seeing them, the officers, out of their patrol cars, walking up and down the street. And I think it's great because I see more engagement with the officers in the community. So I think that's excellent. So they are doing a great job. And I understand that we can't put everything on the police, right? It's not all the police for that's crime. True. And they are doing their best. And I know that, some people may have their opinions. And listen, I'm not, I'm not validating those feelings. I'm just saying that I don't want to generalize. And for the most part, think that ultimately they do a great job. And I'm sure that person will be found. Tim, switching up a little bit, quality of life. Well, not really. Quality of life. Crime is part of quality of life, right? If we have high crime rate, the quality of the life for the residents is not going to be good. What are some of the quality of life issues you feel are important that need to be addressed? And if you were elected this November, you would be addressing them right away.
Yeah. So some things that come to mind are graffiti. And, when I was a new police officer back in the 80s, graffiti was prevalent. It was all over the place. Anybody knows the subways in the city were all, graffiti everywhere. And you know what? It just sets a bad tone. It just makes the quality of life diminish. So I would really be big on it. It's a billboard. It's a billboard for gangs. It's a billboard for just like things that just shouldn't be in a neighborhood. So you have to get that down immediately. I was a supervisor in our gang unit many years ago, and you just can't allow that to happen. Even the graffiti, the broken glass, the garbage, trash, all of those things have to be taken care of. That shows that the city and the administration, they care. So, I mean, not that we don't do it, but I would just try to do it at a higher level and get rid of graffiti, clean up the streets. It's the same thing too. Like we talk about it so often, like speeding cars and the noise level. So these things all have to be addressed. Every time I knock on doors, and this is what people are concerned about. So I would address those wholeheartedly.
I agree. I agree. Everything impacts the overall quality of life, and and how maybe that part of the community and environment is going to, kind of, in terms of crime, right? So definitely everything is part of an overall problem and should be addressed. Graffiti, the speeding, and you mentioned the cars, and I want to talk about the speeding, in particular in your district, District 6 on Lockwood. Now, I've mentioned this to you. We've spoken about it, and you've come up with some great ideas. I've had an issue with speeding, cars going up Lockwood, down Lockwood during dismissal in the afternoons. And you have School 5, you have the high school students from Saunders. There's another school around the corner there off Lockwood, as well as you have my daycare center there. So their parents bringing in their children from the after school. And we even have staff that go and pick up the students at School 5, so they have to come and cross the street, right? I don't see a school zone sign, and and you're mentioning these speeding cars. That's a huge problem, and that's something that I like to work with you on. Hopefully, if you're elected this November, and if that is the case, how would you be able to help, let's say, someone like me, a local business owner, and even the community who may be in danger of these speeding cars?
Yeah. Freddie, I drive Palmer Road. I live right off Palmer Road by the Palmer Dairy. So when I pull out onto Palmer and I head to work in the morning, I always go past Saunders High School. And I'll tell you, you could see like the speeding cars that come around these corners, by
Yeah.
Dunwoody Golf Course. It's so dangerous. And then you have, parents dropping their children off. So people have to make an abrupt stop. So something that I would consider, and I talked about this in the past, is having staggered times where you drop your children off, just so you don't get that bottleneck. You know,
Right.
if you have like 5 or 10 minute staggered times, so you don't have the whole big traffic issue, and then at dismissal time the same thing. And also, the speed bumps, they work, they're very effective. um, that works. The speed zones, like you said, where you have the flashing lights. Some people have to be reminded. You're going by a school, and these young kids are getting out, and you're crossing the streets.
Yes.
Some kids are crossing the street to get a slice of pizza from the pizzeria by you, and
Yeah.
so this is a dangerous, it's a dangerous area. And of course, you need the police. You need the police to write tickets. When people using excessive speed. It's a dangerous thing. Like you have 4,000 pound machine behind you.
Right. Right. And I appreciate the fact that, I've brought this issue to you, and you've, have been thinking about it, right? Last time we spoke, you had some ideas on ways we can, work on that issue, and ultimately, reduce or stop to altogether the speeding up and down Lockwood. That shows that you are responsive, right? I'm a local business owner. I had a concern. I spoke to you about it, and you have been thinking about it. I know at this point there's only so much that you can do, but hopefully, if you are elected, you will definitely work with me to get that addressed. That shows that you respond to the constituents. That's, to me,
Yeah.
something that shows a lot.
Freddie, that's me. That's me in a nutshell. I've always been that way. Even when I was a little kid, I always wanted to help people, try to do the right thing. You know, there was a very, and I don't want to bore you with this, but
No.
there was a very terrible accident on Cook Avenue many years ago, and I was in our emergency service unit. And a young girl, she was 5 years old. She was crossing Cook Avenue, and she ran to get flowers for her mother, and her mother tried to grab her, and the child was hit, and she was killed. It was so egregious. It was so terrible that this happened. The car was using excessive speed. We ended up doing an investigation, and I would not rest. I would not rest until I had a stop sign put in that location, right at that corner. Um, the stop sign. It must have taken a year, but I would not stop
Wow.
calling. And I was the police officer at the time.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
said, this poor girl, if this vehicle would have stopped at a stop, or maybe even slowed down. But it was a terrible thing to see this, and I'll never forget it. Every time I drive down Cook Avenue, I remember it like it was yesterday.
And so again, I appreciate that, and something like, again, that's a great story and a great example of how you actually follow through, right? And I'm a witness to it, right? But hey, people are not gonna just believe me for it. Don't take my word for it. If you see Tim out in the community, approach Tim, say hello. Be cautious. Remember, 6 feet, wear your mask. We got
Yeah,
COVID to contend with as well. But definitely say hello, introduce yourself, and you'll see. Great guy, and he will be responsive if you have any concerns, especially if you are in the District 6 community, which consists of Lockwood. In fact, why don't you just kind of give me, if you can, an overview of your district, or the district you would be represented if elected?
sure. So Freddie, it's a very it's a weird shaped district, but the way I always describe it is it's if you're on Midland Avenue, uh, by Midland Pizza and by St. Anne's Church, it goes north, to the city line, but not
Oh,
but
wow.
not not west of North Broadway, except for one street, and then it goes east to the Bronx River Parkway, and then south to Alta Vista Avenue. That's not the exact
Right.
district,
General
but that's pretty
general
much
area.
general. It's a huge district,
Right.
and believe me, I know because I've been walking it, and it's huge. And
Right.
I'm trying to get to every home, and I'm doing my best.
So you hear that, if you live in that area, within the parameters of those areas, Tim, if elected, would be your representative. So introduce yourself if you see him out in the community. If he's canvassing in the area, make sure you open the door, say hi, offer him some coffee, maybe some tea. But switching gears a bit now, I want to kind of get into it, Tim. What would you say separates you? What makes you different from your opponent, Anthony Moranti?
It's funny you asked that because I really think it boils down to my personality. I have a personality where I just like to do the right thing. I like to do good things by people. I was raised that way. It's almost like inbred in me. My personality, I like to talk to people. I enjoy their company. I like to get things done. I'm a doer. I'm not a type of guy sitting in a chair and do nothing. I have a lot of energy. My wife, sometimes she asks me like, well, when do you sleep? How do you do this? So like I'll get up in the middle of the night and I'll start writing notes, to myself
Well, you
she's
need a
like,
lot of energy to be married. That's what
yeah,
I've learned.
that's true. 33 years already. So,
Right.
but you know what? I just think it's my personality. I'm out there. I'm happy all the time. I love people. I love to talk to them. So I'm just a doer.
Well, let me, in playing devil's advocate here, Tim. Right? Um, people are going to say, yes, you're a nice guy, Tim, but as far as being the city councilman for District 6, that's not something that we think you would be best for, or for X, Y, and Z reason. Again, I think you're a great guy as well. But we have to get some things done, right? And how do you plan on getting these things done? Are you just going to be a rubber stamp for the mayor? And again, this is not my opinion. This is something that I've seen on Facebook, in a comment by someone. These are things that people want to know. Are you going to be that person to, if the constituents want it, the people of District 6 and the people of Yonkers are opposed to whatever the mayor is, deciding. And would you feel, would you be strong enough to, or not strong enough to say, would you show the strength and going in there and, voicing that opinion and voicing, the overall feeling of the constituents of the city of Yonkers there in District
Sure.
6?
So Freddie, I think I have a proven track record of having my own mind and getting things done that I think are right. And when the constituents, when the people in District 6 speak, I'm going to speak for them. So, I get along with the mayor. I grew up with the mayor. I grew up. I'm a lifelong Yonkers resident. Not too many people can say that. I know all the players. I know all the commissioners. I pretty much know. I know all the police, the fire. I'm already plugged in. I've been plugged in. My record speaks for itself. I've had many accomplishments in the police department. I have a lot of different accomplishments through my new job at St. John's Hospital, where we do great things for the community. So I think I've proven myself. I've proven that I disagree with. I can disagree with a lot of people, but I think that the beauty is I can still get along with people. I don't hold
Right.
grudges. My personality. I go back to my personality. I like people. I'll get along. I could disagree with the mayor and go out to dinner and and everything will be fine. So I will never be a rubber stamp for anybody. And I mean, I kind of get it. I've been involved with the city for a long time,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you look at the people that are there now, and they seem to be just a rubber stamp for people. So
Right.
I mean, I don't think I would.
Right. And and look, that's I have to ask you that, right? I have to bring
No,
that up. I
absolutely.
have to mention that, right?
It's
At the end
great.
of the day, it's a fair question, and and people want to know, and I think it should, something that we should speak on, right? And but it's your, I guess some of the relationships or that maybe you've had, with certain people, certain individuals that maybe kind of give you, maybe some stuff rubs off, or people have just a negative perception. But I'm the type of guy, I always judge people, or I don't really judge anyone, but I always make a decision on whether or not I like someone by meeting them, right? But there's some people that say this, right? And so I have to ask anyway. So moving forward, but yeah, Tim, people have been saying to me, on Facebook and sometimes in private messages, Tim, is going to be doing whatever the mayor says. He's going to okay everything. He's going to, and I'm not saying that you have to have, you have to butt heads, right? Relationships are important. And, being a nice guy and being able to build relationships, I think will be also productive, right? But there will be those times, right, that you may have to disagree. And I'm just asking, are you willing to wholeheartedly disagree if that's what you feel is right? And you're saying that you would do that, and I can appreciate that. Um, Again, so now infrastructure. I want to talk a little bit, about that. A lot of developments are going up. A lot more people are moving into the city, predominantly as of now to the waterfront downtown area. Do you see that that increase in population moving towards, let's say, District 6 and other areas that, as of now, still seem to be predominantly single family homes, very little businesses, just small local, mom and pop shops. Are you concerned with that, or should the residents of District 6 be concerned with that?
You know, there are some housing projects being done now. I think there's one off East Grassy Sprain Road now. They're building a bunch of homes.
Yeah.
I think building is great, but you have to look at the consequence of anything. So not that it would be a bad thing, but you start taking down wooded areas. Are you displacing animals? Are you using more water, more of the resources in the city? So you always have to look at every aspect of it. When it comes to the waterfront, I'm intrigued by the waterfront. I think it's an amazing job that the mayor did. It's great. It put Yonkers on the map. I remember in the 1970s. I forget what the name of the magazine was. It was like Science America or something. It was a national magazine. Said that Yonkers was going to be the first space station, and I'll never forget it. I was a little kid, and nothing happened in that waterfront for years. And now all of a sudden, look at it. It's
Right.
beautiful. The restaurants are amazing. My wife and I will be at one of those restaurants almost every weekend. We love this city. We go to all the restaurants. The sixth district. I think it's building up. Also, you have Ridge Hill. The second tower just went up at Ridge Hill. And I'm all for that. I'm all for building and things like that. You just have to keep up with the resources. The population increases. You have to increase, the fire protection. You have to increase the police protection. So
Increase, school space and for the children, because I've from what I
everything,
right
everything's affected.
from what I hear, the schools currently, are they're over populated by 4,500 students, right? And as the city councilman of District 6, if elected, how would you handle that? How would you address that? And not to get away, because I want to go back to development, but it was just a question. How would you, you know, how will we fix that problem? Because the developments are bringing in a lot of people, right? They're families that are coming in, predominantly renters, right? They're moving to the waterfront. Those are all rental units. So they're not contributing or adding to the property taxes, but they're adding to the size of the school or the classroom sizes. So how do we kind of juggle that and find a resolution?
So this is so complicated. It's going to be very difficult, but you have to build more schools. We definitely need more schools, but we also have to look at the people that are using our schools. And I remember um, when we investigated crimes in the schools, a lot of these kids don't even live in Yonkers, so we really have to look at that. We have to say, hey, you know what? If you don't live in Yonkers, if you're being bussed in or somehow you're coming here and you shouldn't be in this school system, maybe it's not prevalent, but if there's 100 or 200 kids that shouldn't be in here, why do we have them coming here? So I think we have to look at that. You're going to have renters everywhere. They're still spending money here. They're still going to the restaurants. They're still, using the stores and all. So,
well, I'm not, it's not anything against the renters. I don't want to, if I came across that way,
no,
but what I'm saying is that, they will utilize a lot of the, utilities, the systems that we have here, like the educational system. However, they're not bringing in more in terms of property taxes. So, that's something that some people in the city, lifelong residents such as yourself, are having a problem with. They say it's not fair, right? I mean, and not only that's making things crowded. You see the increase in traffic going down Yonkers Avenue, going up and down Ashburton Avenue to try to get onto the Sawmill. It's getting crazy, and I don't know if we can widen the streets anymore.
Right. Well, see, you brought up a good point, Freddie, and going back to infrastructure. When you make changes like that, you have to look at infrastructure. You have to look, before that those projects should be done, like East Grassy Sprain Road. Will that be the next, Tuckahoe Road where, it's bumper to bumper traffic? So you have to look at that also. You're putting more homes there. You have people that are going to go into the Winchester or go up into that Westchester Hills area, and they're going to be in bumper to bumper traffic too. So that's not fair either. That's why everything has an effect. Everything you do has an effect, and it has to be looked at. Every angle has to be looked at.
Absolutely. And Jackson Avenue over there, it's getting crazy there. Very crazy, just to try to make it down to Central if you're getting off the Sprain Brook, or if you're coming from Sawmill Road right all the way across. It's becoming a lot more difficult. It's taking longer to do that. So and that's just some of my concerns, as well as a lot of the city residents' concerns. The traffic. How are we going to manage all this increased traffic, right? What are the plans? What are they going to do? Are they going to build another road above the road?
Freddie, if you noticed also in Yonkers, like the north-south corridors, there's several of them. But when you go east-west in the city, there's very few. You have Yonkers Avenue, you have Palmer Road, you have Tuckahoe Road, and then now you're already into Hastings with Jackson Avenue. Right. So we never really had big arterial roads going east and west. So that was, it's something that we should look at also.
Absolutely. And really quick, just wanted to get back to the quality of life. And I know we kind of spoke about that a little bit, but I did want to mention the homelessness problem that I've seen in Getty Square. As you know, my nonprofit, along with Gianna's Family Deli on Midland, and I want to definitely shout them out and say thank you, have been, helping me provide bag lunches for the homeless in Getty Square. That is a quality of life issue. That is a mental health issue. That is a drug addiction issue, as well as a lack of roof over your head issue, right? What are you going to do if elected, or what is being done currently to address the problem that I see is increasing by every day?
Freddie, so I work at St. John's Hospital now, and we have a behavioral health unit down at Park Avenue, 2 Park Avenue. So I'm already doing something about it. I have already spoken to the vice president down there about bringing our behavioral health unit out on the road, bring it out to the people, bring it out to Getty Square, bring it out to areas where there are homeless. And I really got kudos for it. People were happy. Even the people in the hospital, staff said, "Well, this makes a lot of sense."
That's a great idea. No, absolutely. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Most people didn't even know that we existed. And a lot of times the clients we get are from the Bronx or from different areas in the 5 boroughs. And here we are. We have this mental health challenge, right, 2 blocks away. So there's really a good buy-in from St. John's. And we're already doing some outreach now. We did one at Lincoln Park, McLean Avenue and South Broadway, just 2 weeks ago, and now we're going to go to Getty Square probably in a week or two.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I would definitely like to know more information about that. I'd definitely like to stop by as well. Yeah, and you know, I've heard from, and I think it's a great idea because one of the comments made by an elected official, and I won't mention any names, is that we do have the services, but they have to come and get the services, right? So it's almost basically saying, well, they're not coming for the services, so it's not our fault in a sense.
You have a mental health issue. We can't rely on you to make your
Right.
appointments. I mean, we need to go out to that community and help them. These people are crying for help, but they just don't know how to get it. And kudos to you for doing the bag lunches. We do it
Thank you.
through Yonkers Rotary. We also do lunches like that. So anything like that, I kudos to you, Freddie.
No, thank you very much. And you know, that's just part of what we want to do in the community, and we want to do so much more, and we generally want to do it. And this is why we do, or why I do basement politics. So again, I don't charge anyone. The elected officials haven't paid me a cent. I do this to bring awareness, and it's for the educational purposes to, you know, try and get the community to engage, you know, in our political system here in Yonkers, and also to get engaged in the community and what's going on, and you know, contribute where they can. You know, every little bit helps. It doesn't matter how small it is. You know, it definitely helps. And I've been working to meet and build relationships with you know, elected officials and those hoping to become elected officials, so I can build those relationships, right, to go ahead and do some of this stuff that I'm hoping to get done. And I need the support. And there are other, you know, wonderful people out there that are also working as well here in Yonkers, to help with the homelessness problem. I just see it that it's increasing, you know, and day by day, because I'm there. I get breakfast all the time at Paxos, and I don't see any reduction. I don't see it slowing down, or at least sustaining to the same, right? I see it more, and it's a lot of young individuals as well as older individuals. So, and that leads me to where I want to talk about now with the young people and the gangs, right? What are we doing? What are we going to do, Tim, about the gang problem here in Yonkers?
Yeah. You know what, gangs have always been a problem all around the country. Like I said, I was the supervisor of our gang unit many years ago, but it was my first like a rude awakening where we found out, you know, how many gangs we had, the different gangs, which gang didn't like this one, which didn't like that one. So when you really look at that and you find out that, you know, the gangs exist, and at one time said, no, don't say they're gangs. They're groups of people. I mean, let's be realists. Let's say this is a problem. We have people that are joining these gangs for to have some kind of identity, and let's get social programs. Let's get
Right.
the PAL is an amazing place where kids can go. They can play basketball. They can do boxing, learn chess. You know, like this is what we have to do. We have to keep these kids busy, keep them in school, get them educated. Education is so crucial. So I think if we really push this, Boo Wilson Park, you know, we had Boo Wilson's his son there, like commemorating a brand new park. There's new exercise parks being built
Yes.
all over the city.
Yeah, I've been seeing them.
We got to keep kids busy.
Yes.
When I was working, I was shining shoes on South Broadway when I was 8 or 10 years old. My father would sit and watch us while we shined shoes, kept us busy, kept us out of trouble. So I think kids have to work. They have to have
Yes.
the schools. We talked about schools before, but you have to have art in school. You have to have sports in school.
Yes.
Sports. If it wasn't for baseball in high school, I probably would have been in trouble because I would have had too much free time. But organized sports, my coach, I think I mentioned this once before, but you remember your coach's names like before you would remember your teacher's name,
Right.
because they really they just fill you with good knowledge and integrity.
Absolutely.
And so I think this is what the kids need. And you know,
Absolutely.
we probably have all of these programs. Again, let's bring it out. Let's bring
Right.
it to the schools. Let's not
Right.
wait for the kid to join the PAL. Let's bring the PAL to them.
Agree, and that's an excellent point. We have to introduce them to things. Keep them busy with positive and productive things, so they can stay out of trouble. Right? Idle hands is the devil's time, or something to that
Yeah,
effect, or whatever.
something like that.
So we have to have these different programs and resources and opportunities that they can get involved in. So that's definitely something that I agree with 100%. As you know, I'm working on things such as workshops and stuff for teens and young adults for that reason. But what about when it's too late, right? What about if we weren't able to reach them in time and they get arrested? Do you believe in rehabilitation?
Absolutely. I've seen it firsthand. You know what's interesting, Freddie? I created the gun tip hotline many years ago, and it was to help us get illegal guns off the street, and it was very effective. It was probably the most effective gun buyback program in New York State, and it's actually utilized by all police departments in New York State. What I saw, I don't know if you heard of Snug, the
Yes.
Snug
Yes.
outreach program.
Yes.
So the Snug, the people that work in Snug are all convicted felons. They
Yeah,
were
and,
all
and and I know a lot of the guys that work for the Snug program. They just shout out to the Snug program. They actually had over the summer a basketball league for the young kids in Serrato Park. So I was there one day. I took pictures and stuff, did a video and stuff. So I definitely shouted them out. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Freddie. They're an amazing program.
Yeah.
So I was on the board to interview some of these ladies and gentlemen that were potential Snug outreach operators, and I'll tell you what I saw when I saw rehabilitation was amazing. They were educated in prison while they were incarcerated. They found religion. Um, they did amazing jobs, and they worked with us so closely and did such good jobs. And I was amazed. So absolutely, I've seen it firsthand. So as a police officer, I've actually been thanked by people that got arrested and maybe did some time and came back, sought me out to find me and said, "Hey, you know what? You caught me doing this, but look what I'm doing. I'm married now. I have a job. But I want to thank you for treating me with respect." So absolutely,
Yeah,
I
and people remember that stuff. I'm also, again, through my nonprofit, I also have what's called the Second Chance program, right? Like the lunch program that we do through my nonprofit, People United for Social Honor. We call it Feed the Need, and then I have the Second Chance program where I look for individuals who have had run-ins with the law, have a criminal record now, and have trouble finding jobs, and I give them a second chance, right? I say, listen, I know what you've been through. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to show that you deserve that second chance. So I get them jobs within my companies or with other companies of people that I may know. All right. So I definitely believe in rehabilitation, and also I believe that in giving some of the individuals a second chance, right? It may reduce the opportunity of them reoffending, right? Or the potential, I should say, of them reoffending, right? And the reason why I asked you that question is because your opponent, Anthony Moranti, doesn't really seem to kind of favor that a little bit. Recently in a meeting, a city council meeting, I believe it was today, the Shanae Williams of District 1, councilwoman, wanted to introduce a bill where it would kind of, I don't want to say wipe clean, but just allow for individuals to be able to kind of mask or hide the fact that they've been convicted of a crime, so that way they can be employed, as opposed to like in the case of one gentleman that I have hired and worked for me. He was in an interview, and when the interviewer asked him what was the crime he committed, he told them, and the guy stopped the interview right there and said, "Listen, this is over. I'm not going to hire you at all." And he just was like, "What did I do?" And he said, "I was a victim of that crime." So, maybe the gentleman was traumatized. I can understand that, but I can also empathize with the person, the interviewee, right? As he's sitting there and he's like feeling like crap now. What are likely he's going to do if when he leaves that interview, right? So I just wanted to play a little audio from the meeting of your opponent, Anthony Moranti, and just him discussing his view on rehabilitation and kind of masking people's past, so that way they can be employed and have the opportunity to change their lives
and help somebody. But I think the reality of the law is that you're taking someone that could have had a lot of offenses and just basically letting them free. And what does that do for future people who commit crimes? They're like saying, well, I'm trying to understand everything about this law, and I just correct me if I'm wrong. Someone could have 10 different convictions, and they're all going to go away, and it just doesn't seem fair to the individuals who have had a clean life and have worked hard, went to school, with good, a good community person. They're now going to be equal to someone who's had a long, unfortunate criminal career. Am I missing something in what this law is saying?
I think you are missing something, but
That was Shanae, Councilwoman Shanae Williams. Let him know. I think you are missing something there, Anthony Aranti. So, from what I gathered there, I don't know if I like where he said, we're now making them equal. Well, at the end of the day, we're human beings. I believe we're all humans. We're all equal. And I get what he's trying to say, right? There are people who have not been arrested, who've done the right thing all their lives, which I don't know if anyone's always done the right thing all their lives, right? Everyone makes mistakes, and it's not fair to them. And I don't see how that is. As an employer, I don't have a long line of people who've never gotten in trouble, who went to school, graduated college, and knocking on my door to get a job, right? Usually are individuals who are in certain situations, that are looking for this type of employment. And it's, for those who don't know, it's in construction and restoration. So, and I just want to play that to you to see and get kind of, your take on what was said there.
So, Freddie, of course, everything would be on a case-by-case basis. But, I grew up in South Yonkers. We very humble beginnings. Sometimes people were hungry and maybe they stole food and were arrested. Like, come on, we have to
Right.
be compassionate to some people. If you're a sex offender, are we going to let you work with children? Of course not. So it's a case-by-case basis. Like I said, even the Grayston Project, I don't know if you're familiar with that, but St. John's Hospital, we hire people that are part of this Grayston Project that were arrested, served some time. I work with these individuals every day. They're super productive. They're so happy. They made mistakes in their life, and they moved on, and they're living fulfilled life. So what do we say? Okay, you arrested, you can't amount to anything. And you know what happens then? You commit more crimes. You become a recidivist because you can't get a job and you can't make a meaningful living. So definitely a case by case basis. But I grew up in South Yonkers, and I know what it's like to be poor, and I know what it's like to be hungry. So you know what? I'll take the compassionate side.
Right. And I agree with you. And that's why I appreciate you a lot, Tim. We have to have compassion, right? We have to have empathy. Some people go through things that we just don't know anything about, right? And again, that's not to excuse people from their actions. Everyone should definitely face whatever consequences come with their actions. And I agree to that as well. But I know for me personally, and having given individuals a second chance, of course, it's not 100% success rate, but even one, although it's been more than one, even just one, seeing them change their life, right, for the better, it's an amazing experience and feeling for me. But again, it's not just that individual that is having their life change. It's that individual's family, their children. They may have a daughter, a son. Right now, dad or mom is not working. They're doing productive things. They're earning their money the right way. Now they're able to change their life. The kids see that. The kids move forward in that way, right? They learned, they see their parents made a mistake and they corrected that mistake. They're learning something there that I think it's invaluable. So we can't just quickly dismiss people. And I get it, some people are really, have done really bad things, and again, like you said, it should be a case by case basis on that. So, but Tim, I wanted to, I don't know if you have Steve there. I want to bring him in at some point here, just to join Steve Simpson.
Sure.
Join us a little bit here. But before I do that, I want to give you an opportunity. Is there anything that you like to say to the people of Yonkers who may be watching now and who will watch later? Here's your opportunity.
Sure. Freddie, you know what? I'm devoted to this city. I'm devoted to the people in this city. Uh, I I had a 34-year career working for the city of Yonkers. I appreciate it. I appreciate all that was given to me. The taxpayers paid my salary for many years. I'm grateful to them. I want to continue public service. I love it. It's in my blood. I belong to many organizations where we try to do good things for people, the Yonkers Rotary and Gift of Life and Leukemia Lymphoma. So I want to continue that in my district, District 6, which I love, which I walk around all the time and enjoy it, enjoy the people. I'm plugged in. I'm out there. People know my name. They know me because I come and see them and I talk to them, and that's what I'm all about.
I do see your signs everywhere, and you have some pretty big signs there also on Tuckahoe, some of the businesses there, and
You know what, Freddie? Just, if I could, you know why? Because I have friends that own businesses, and
right? Yeah,
I
no, yeah,
patronize
absolutely.
those businesses. I go to the restaurants. I painstakingly went to everybody that I know to put signs up. I don't put signs up on public areas. I don't put them on poles. I think that's worse than graffiti.
Right.
So
right.
when you see a sign, it's somebody that said, "Hey, you know what? This is Tim Hodges is
Yeah.
my guy. I like him. I appreciate him." So, and I'm I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I that's something that I figured that, again, and I've actually spoken to a couple of the business owners where your sign was placed, and no, they said they know you. You go in there, you go into their business, you do give them business, and they say good things about you. So yes, I realized that, and I found that out because I spoke to the owners of the businesses,
Thanks.
and they mentioned you, and I didn't go in there to just ask them that. I didn't want you. That's not what it wasn't one of my basement politics exposés or anything like that.
Okay.
No, it was just I was going in there, purchase something private to drink, and I just mentioned it, and they said nothing but good things about you. Now, just really quick, we're almost approaching the hour, Mac. We have about 8 or 9 minutes or so here. I just wanted to ask: is there anything that I did not cover, or anything that I did not mention that you think it's important to mention?
Just a couple of things. Like
Sure.
if anybody's interested in looking me up or asking me questions, they can go to timhodgesforyonkers.com. I could always get back to them any questions they have. Invariably when I talk to people, they have questions about my politics, my platform, my stance. So I'm going to tell them exactly how I feel and win, lose, or draw. Also on Instagram, Tim Hodges 6. On Facebook, Tim Hodges. So anybody has any questions, please call me. I'm willing to speak to anybody.
And I would say that Tim isn't lying when he says that. He does speak to everyone, he's a great guy, and he came. And I appreciate the fact that you came there, because I told my wife, I was like, what? You didn't have to do that, and I just feel like, you have so much going on. You're a very busy man. You're doing a lot, and you took the time. So that just meant a lot to us.
It was nice to meet you and your family, Fred.
Absolutely. And so it's great to meet you. It's great to build a relationship as time goes along and stuff like that. Great guy. But again, like I mentioned before, right? It's you have to be more than just a great guy to be effective, to be successful, to represent the constituents and the residents of District 6 and the city of Yonkers as a whole, right? And so we want to make sure. I want to make sure, Tim, you have what it takes, and you're going to represent us well, and because at the end of the day, that's number one to me, is the community and the people. But again, I think that you will be someone who does actually do that. I reached out to Anthony actually about a situation that I've had, with my business, whatever. Wasn't very responsive, so, and again, not to knock the guy, but I think it's very important that the elected officials, the representatives of the community, on the government side, be responsive, hear the residents, hear the constituents, and address the needs. And I think that if you do that, to me, it doesn't matter if you were a horrible guy, I guess, personally, right? That doesn't matter. I think it's, what you do as an elected official, your track record, as you mentioned, that really matters. And I think you have both, which is great. That's a double win for the city of Yonkers if elected come November. So, yes. Tim, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. I appreciate, everything that you've done. I look forward to it. I look forward to November. I'm actually excited. I want to see what's going to be the end results. And again, like I always tell the people, it doesn't matter what I say, if you even care what I say, right? My opinion is not what you should base your opinion or your decision or your vote on. You should base that on the platform of the individual candidates, whether Republican or Democrat. Please, like Tim mentioned, check out his page on Facebook and Instagram. Get to know Tim more. If there's anything that you need to know or want to know or would like to know, reach out to Tim. I'm sure he will respond right away. He has a great team. And there's another thing I want to mention, actually. You have a great team, and I've met, I don't know for everyone, but I've met your team, and, they're all great people also. I think you're the first candidate that I've met everyone, that's working with them and stuff like that. Everybody's been great. I appreciate their what should I say? They say the show is great. They love it. So I appreciate the compliments. That's the word I'm looking for. So thank you. And tell them I said thank you very much, Tim.
I will,
Tim,
Fred.
again, you have a great night. I know you're very busy. You got to get to bed to wake back up and get it going again.
Yes, I
So
do.
I appreciate coming on. Thank you so much. Basement Politics with Freddie Jackson. I don't even know my own name. I'm exhausted also too. Freddie Vasquez.
Thanks.
Say good night to Tim,
Thanks,
everyone.
Fred.
Tim, say good
Good
night to
everybody.
everyone.
Good night.
Take care. Have a good evening, Tim. I'm exhausted. I truly am exhausted. I have a restoration company, fire and water restoration. And what we do is when there's a fire, or in the case of Hurricane Ida, when there's all this flooding in basements, we come in, we extract the water, clean it up, disinfect, do all that good stuff, and get your home back to new condition again. So I've been exhausted. That's another reason why I haven't done as many podcasts. I've just been coming home, and all I want to do is sleep. I'm tired now. But I was here for Tim. I like Tim, great guy. On Sunday, we had a podcast where we featured Ron Matten. He's the candidate on the Republican ticket for the Yonkers City Council president seat. So if you missed that, go check it out on the page. Guess what? Guess who I got coming on the show real soon? Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, Democratic candidate for Yonkers City Council president. She and I will be chopping it up, right? Getting together, talking. And I'm going to do a little something different on that show. A little something different. So you're going to have to watch. We're going to come out of the basement. We're going to come out the basement, and we're going to go see some things and do an interview live on location. So join us for that. As soon as we have a date set, we will definitely announce it. That's going to be a very good one. So you don't want to miss it. But if you do, you can always watch all the podcast show on the page here, Basement Politics with Freddie Vasquez, or on our YouTube page, Politics with Fred. You can catch all the past episodes there. I will be putting some new episodes on the show shortly. So again, tune in, like, share, follow, tell a friend to tell a friend. I appreciate you guys watching tonight. Thank you very much. Yonkers, I love you. Have a good night. And we'll see you next time with Lakeisha. Hopefully it'll be Lakeisha. Hopefully. Well, we're going to set it up. We'll set it up and we'll let you know. Anyway, folks, I'm exhausted. I'm going to get to bed. You all get to bed as well. Have a happy Wednesday, hump day. Take care, folks. Enjoy. Good night. Basement Politics.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.